Nick's Southern Heritage series. Okay, so I try to highlight stuff that isn't famous or pretentious, or even if it is, I have some kind of personal connection with it. Well, today I'm breaking my own rule and looking right at Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Of course, famous all over the world, not only for its strong message of race and class relations in the Old South, but also for its magnanimous film adaptation that won an Academy Award. Not that that means much to me. I'm sure you had to read it in high school much the same way I did, and I'm sure you hated it much the same way I did. Yeah, even if you're forced to read a good book, you won't like it and will turn out some half-assed report. I think mine read, Racism is bad. Racism is bad because this book says so. I will try not to be a racist anymore. Something like that, I bet. Well, I would like to talk about the book's author, Harper Lee, but she has since shunned public life and lives as a recluse away from society, refusing to give interviews and being cynical. They asked her to write an introduction for the book's 30th anniversary, and her introduction was about how stupid introductions are. Oh well, I suppose it brought her quite a bit of cash. Anyway, I want to respect her privacy and mention nothing of her life other than the fact that the book itself reflects much of her own childhood. So what was that childhood like? The book takes place in Alabama in the Great Depression.
Roll Tide.
So for 10
It's about a young girl named Jean Louise Finch, though she much prefers the name Scout. She's a tomboy and likes to go out and get rough with the other boys of the town, much to the adults' displeasure.
Patty, the years have been great to you.
Well, I owe that to my better half. Who is it, sir?
Though she's the narrator, the real hero of the story is her father, Atticus Finch, a lawyer of the utmost and noble kind who's called upon to defend a Negro. Tom Robinson is accused of raping a white lady of the poorest and trashiest variety. Even though she's poor white trash who can barely read and speaking, Miella Elwell still looks down on him and, according to the unwritten rules of the town, is supposed to pity him as though he is the village idiot. Also, her father's a drunk who beats her and her 7 brothers and sisters. The town is all in an uproar about this case. It's more popular than Jesus, and they even threaten to lynch the Negro and kill Atticus Finch, so they're subdued by the laws of the state. The case comes to court, and for all of Atticus's knowledge and lawyering skills, the black man is convicted and put away. Okay, that's the basic outline, but there's more to it than that. There's, like, this creepy old house, and a mockingbird. Anyway, the book is written in simple enough to understand English, much like a child would write, which, considering the main character is a child, is the whole damn point. The dark, gritty world of adults is viewed through the simple, innocent eyes of a child, showing how much wisdom children can have and how much ignorance adults can have. The leaders of the town have to learn simple moral lessons preached to them by the noble Atticus Finch, while school children are learning the same thing from their teachers. And getting further into it, that's the real point of the story, the loss of innocence from the main character, Scout. She's a rough and tumble tomboy, playing with her older brother and his friend, and she has to realize that these days are leaving her behind. She's growing into a young lady there, and will soon have to accept all the responsibilities of a woman in the Deep South. Harper Lee maintained that it wasn't a racial novel, but rather a simple love story. The question has always been, a love story between who? I think this is a racial novel done perfect. Did I like it better than Huckleberry Finn? No. Hell no! I mean, Huckleberry set the standard for novels like this, and it was written by a real renegade. Still, I think this is more how to convey the problems with prejudice of all kinds than generic white guilt period pieces. The racism in it is incidental. I mean, yes, it's a major factor of the novel, but really the focus is on Scout and her own coming of age. The racism is just a small part of that. It could be any adult problem that a child can understand, but adults want to look away from. You latch on to Scout, get to know her hopes and dreams, her plight, all the different things she's going through. It's not about a slave who thinks slavery is bad. Wow! Never would have come to that conclusion on my own. In many ways, this was the same strength of Huckleberry Finn, how the escaped slave didn't need to be a slave, it just so happened he was one. He was an outlaw, in much the same way Finn himself was. So, do I like the novel? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Won the damn Pulitzer Prize. Not that that means anything either. Like I said, I didn't want to read it in school simply because and grew to hate it. I think that's the great irony of school. You force people to learn so they'll be smart, and they hate the very good you're trying to do for them. They become willfully ignorant, much like the people in this book. Wait! What if that's the hidden moral? It was the school's fault, damn it! Tom! No! Getting back on track, the novel is wonderfully simple to read and pretty damn short. I'm a big fan of the below 5,000 pages crowd, and I think this needs to be employed more. Or if you're above 5,000 pages, at least have some large print. You can't have both. However, my problem with the novel is Atticus Finch himself. I mean, he's a good hero, an upright, highly ethical, and moralistic man who may not believe in God, but believes in the common decency due us all. He's always willing to do the right thing, even if it's the wrong time. The very thing I would look for not only in a lawyer, but in every person. The problem I have with this is that it's complete crap. I'm not saying that real people aren't knights who are willing to fight for those oppressed, but I am saying lawyers aren't. What's more evil than a lawyer?
Can you imagine a world without lawyers? Oh.
The devil's basically a lawyer with all those contracts he draws up. Hey, I wonder if the devil's Jewish. I guess part of this is that Scout is looking at her father with that childish innocence and seeing these heroic qualities in him, but the truth can only be stretched so far. Only in America can a lawyer be a hero. Of course, no review would be complete without mentioning the famous film adaptation. There, I mentioned it. There was also a play, which I've never seen, though I'm told is quite interesting. It's played once a year in May in Monroeville, Alabama, Lee's childhood home. The self-styled literary capital of Alabama, probably the only place where people can read, hosts the play on the country courthouse grounds. When the court scene comes up, they actually move into the courthouse itself and even divide the audience up racially. Oh yeah, for the play, right? Totally. They even ask some white men from the audience to come up and play the jurors. Pretty cool, I think. Lastly, Harper Lee has been writing a sequel to the novel, which will come out in about a month. Sellout. For a recluse who hates the high-rolling dollars of Hollywood, you're really pandering to them, aren't you? Oh well, I guess if Mark Twain could send Tom Sawyer to Egypt, she could send Scout into the 1950s. Well, this one's a little short, but there isn't much to say. I hope you liked it, though, and if you're some poor high school kid, maybe you can use it as evidence to cuss out your teacher. Join me next time. We'll be heading north, but still be a little south.